Hey, what's up everybody? Michael here, and I thought that I would go ahead and begin by making a bit of a tutorial on how you can get up and started using this PS5 Linux loader, which was released just the other day from the Flow. Now, in order to get this to work, you are going to need a PS5 FAT machine, as well as one that is on the 3.x and the 4.x firmware. So I am actually going to be using a PS5 4.03 today, and I'm going to be installing that on an external USB drive. Now, what we need to do in order to get set up with this is that we are going to need a USB drive with at least 64 gigabytes. Mine is going to be right at 1 terabyte. A USB Ethernet LAN adapter, as well as a USB keyboard or a mouse. Now again, you can install this on an M.2 SSD if you add it to your PlayStation 5, but we're not going to do that. So what we need to do first is we need to go ahead and power up our PlayStation 5 4.03 and configure some of these settings. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to come right in here and we're going to go to settings, and then we're going to go to system. Once we're in system, we're going to scroll down here to power saving, and then you will see features available in rest mode. Go ahead and set the supply power to the USB ports to always, as I've already done so here. Next up, we need to disable the HDMI link. So let's go up to HDMI here and just make sure that this one is not checked. So here this is disabled. So we want to disable the HDMI device link. Go ahead while you're in here and turn off any sort of automatic updates. So let's go into the system software update and settings and just make sure that both of these are turned off as they are on my machine. And then finally, in the report software errors automatically, just make sure that that one is also turned off as well. So now we can go ahead and we can switch back over to the PC and get Linux installed to our USB drive. Okay, so back over on the PC, we just configured the PS5 settings. Now let's go ahead and go through the installation steps. Now, it is proposed here to build the Linux image yourself, and you can absolutely do so by following through some of these instructions. There is a few things that you are going to need to do, but I did notice that Sonic ISO has released this image already, so you can actually just come over here to this URL and download the image and you are ready to go. And so that is what I'm going to be doing here today. Now, I've decided that I'm going to use Rufus to create a bootable USB drive. And so go ahead and come over here and download that to get started. Okay, so now when you load Rufus here, you may not see any drive, and I do have a drive connected. If you press the Alt button and then press ELF, so Alt and ELF together, you will see that now it has detected my USB drives. For some reason, it doesn't do that by default. But right here is the drive that I'm going to use, which is going to be the 1 terabyte drive here. And I'm going to go to select, and I'm going to grab the PS5 Ubuntu.img file. And so we can see here, it has went ahead and filled in all of these details. And we want to leave this exactly like it is. So now we're going to press start. Now again, by doing so, it will destroy any data that's on the target, but we are okay with that. So let's go ahead and press OK and get this image created. Now, while it is writing that image to a USB drive, which we're going to insert in our PlayStation 5 in just a second, I did want to let you know that also Sonic has released another repo here that if you do not have a jailbreak already on your console, then you can just go ahead and use this package here. So he's got a backup for PlayStation 5's 4.50 and 4.51, as well as some of the different PKGs that you're going to need. Now on my PS5, I've already got the UMTX jailbreak set up, But basically, you are going to need a way to come in here and to run this ELF file. So there is a couple of different options here. Number one, you can use the UMTX2 Jailbreak. This one has actually been updated to include the PS5 Linux loader. This is by Zeco, and you can access it just right here in your PlayStation 5 browser. Obviously, you need to be on a firmware that fits within the Linux payload, which is the 3.x and the 4.x. Now, you can optionally just go ahead and send that over, but you would have to have a network connection and a program like Netcat GUI. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use this simply because I already have an ELF loader set up. And so once this image finishes writing here, there is some instructions on where to plug the USB drive into your PS5. Now it states here that the front bottom Type-C port could be used for booting, as well as the rear Type-A ports that's on the back of it. Now they did state here that the front top Type-A port is USB 2.0, which is slower and not really recommended. Okay, so over on my PlayStation 5 here, I'm going to go ahead and go to Media, and we are going to be running the UMTX2 Jailbreak here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Jailbreak on this option. And at this point, we have an ELF loader running on port 10.0.0.142. And now I'm just going to use Netcat GUI, and right there is the IP address, and there is the port. And then I am just pointing to the PS5 Linux loader.elf. And now we're going to inject the payload here. Okay, so we can see all kinds of stuff happening. So it says going to rest mode in 5 seconds. And I have realized that it did not pick up properly on the capture card. So I've just switched to a manual camera here. So the first thing that you can see is that it prompts you with this welcome dialog here. And so we're just going to go to where it says English, and we're going to take that option. And then we're going to click on next up in the very top. And now it will ask us for our keyboard. So again here, I'm just going to go to English, and right there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And now in the top here, you can see that has been selected just right there. So we're going to hit next on this screen. And now it's going to ask us a little bit of information about ourselves. So the first box is the full name. So I'm just going to type in my name here, and we're just going to change the username here just to be mbcrump, and we'll hit next. And now we need to set a password, so I'm going to do so right now. Make sure you do remember this password, as you're going to need it again, and we'll hit next up at the top. We are going to leave that at the default and hit next up at the top. And we are going to just select next on that. For the time zone here, I need to put in my proper city. So right there it is, and we'll hit next on that. And now it does say that it is downloading some additional language packs. We don't really need that, so we're just going to go right here to cancel the download for that. And now we're going to start using Ubuntu. Okay, so from here, we can just go ahead and load up things like the Explorer window here, as well as we can start launching different Linux applications. So for this video, I'm going to stop here, and we will be picking this back up as the days go by. I do want to play with this a little bit more before I report out more things on it, but hopefully this was at least enough to kind of get you up and running with Linux on your PlayStation 5. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Michael, out!